I'm back. Rhodes Rants for Black and White Entertainment. We're going to talk about another Disney employee. Another member of Hollywood. This time, another guy that we have absolutely nailed in the past. James Gunn. That's right, the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, including the upcoming third one, and the director of the Suicide Squad quote-unquote pseudo-reboot / sequel that is about to come out. And what's happened is we've had a conservative that's come out, and he wrote a letter or did an editorial by way of the Orlando Sentinel, okay? And he voiced concerns about the level of wokeness that has invaded Disney, particularly the theme parks, okay? The guy describes himself as a lifelong Disney fan, guy that loves the theme parks, liked all the things surrounding it, as well as his family, okay, which is something that I think James Gunn is missing. And James Gunn went out there and attacked this guy, okay? Are we surprised by that? No, because it seems like Disney employees, particularly in their entertainment lines like Lucasfilm or the MCU, the MCU's been fairly okay with not attacking fans, but now James Gunn is attacking fans. And I'm not sure if I was James Gunn, I would be throwing stones when I'm living in a glass house. Okay? As we know, James Gunn's got some issues of his own, and I'll get to those in a minute. And this is by way of Pirates and Princesses. Very quickly, make sure you go over and check out blackandwhitenetwork.com. Exclusive content from myself and Mr. John Matrixx, joint videos together. Exclusive content for bronze and silver members. And if you're a silver member, you also get the opportunity to be on member panels with myself and Mr. Matrixx, as well as exclusive live streams. So go over, check that out. And if you don't want to become a member right now, you can hit us with a little donation. Always remember, Black and White News, which is black and white politics essentially, is demonetized. That channel is demonetized because we know big tech tends to frown on more conservative content. So, and eventually they'll get this channel too. That's just the way it is. They'll get us all. So, here we go. From Pirates and Princesses, James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy director, and the Suicide Squad director, mocks conservative Disney fans. And this is from one of the great leakers in all of the news sphere. In my opinion, the best leaker when it comes to Lucasfilm. All things Lucasfilm, WDW Pro. Here we go. Good grief. When I first told the editors of Pirates and Princesses that I would cover the Orlando Sentinel woke Disney article, it hadn't blown up yet. And I guess this article is getting some steam. I saw it somewhere else. I was about to cover it when I found this James Gunn tie-in. At the time, we all assumed it was means for the Sentinel to get easy clicks, make fun of the editorial author, and get some stuff trending. In other words, why would a woke mainstream media newspaper or outlet these days, let's be honest, everybody involved with newspaper and generally speaking TV in the media is going to be ultra liberal and in most cases lunatics. By my, oh my, it certainly did get some extra legs when James Gunn decided to step in and essentially mock everyone who agrees with Jonathan Van Boskerk. And this is the guy that wrote the article down here. I love Disney World, but the wokeness is ruining the experience. And very quickly, we will, let me scroll down because he actually lists 3 things that he's got a problem with. So now let's review what the critiques are by Van Boskerk about the Walt Disney World wokeness and how they're managing Walt Disney World based on reading the article. These are the takeaways or the summarizations. Number 1, he doesn't want cast members expressing their individualism if that expression diminishes the immersion of the theme park experience, especially given that most people can't express their individuality at work. Well, look, if you go there and they're supposed to, you're riding a ride, you're experiencing some kind of theme, I'm not sure that, a tattoo of Boba Fett is the smartest thing in the world to be showing, in a ride about, something in the 18th century. So and I'm just using that as an example, but I get where he's coming from if you're trying to get immersed and your family immersed in the experience. You're like, wait a minute. They've got some very strange tattoos showing on them, and we're in some kind of saloon experience in the Wild West. It doesn't make sense to actually display that if that is if that's what you're going for with the experience. Disney used to not allow that. Now you can show I guess you can have pink hair, you can have tattoos, all this stuff showing, even if the experience they're going for, that you're visiting for, even if it takes away from it, diminishes the experience. So I understand where this guy's coming from there. He takes issue with the change of Splash Mountain from the story of Brer Rabbit, authentic African-American slave folklore, to Princess and the Frog, Disney-oriented content. He doesn't like that Trader Sam, a very popular character among Disney fans, and for some whom several establishments have been named, there's a lot of businesses out there with that name, has been removed from the Jungle Cruise ride. He feels that riding the attraction in the future will be a reminder of Disney's politics rather than the humor. Well, let's be honest. We know what that's all about too, right? Disney's been going woke everywhere. Now, this is what James Gunn came back and said. The wokeness specifically is seeing cast members' tattoos and removing a character named Trader Sam from Jungle Cruise. A grown man sees these things, parentheses, or doesn't see them, and he gets all worked up, and his experience is, quote, ruined for him. And somehow he doesn't see this is his, in caps, problem. Well, we'll get to you in a minute, James Gunn. Then he comes back and says once again, so pleasantly floating around through Jungle Cruise, and he sees this guy is missing, and all of a sudden, his whole world falls apart. Not his whole world, dude. And of course, he goes on to call this guy fucking weird. James Gunn has the unadulterated nerve to call somebody fucking weird. And this is what these assholes in Hollywood don't seem to understand. You're calling all conservatives that, okay? Because the belief set is similar, and that's the problem, okay? These Hollywood types believe everybody feels the same way that Hollywood does, and they don't. In the real world, they don't. I hate to break it to you, James Gunn, but almost everybody I know right here where I live, okay, agree with the guy that wrote the damn editorial, all right? But this is how out of touch you assholes are, and you don't get that 80 million Americans essentially feel the same way he does, okay? And this guy's, you act like he's got some kind of in the minority problem. No, asshole. We want stories to be honored. This has been our problem with Lucasfilm. We want the story, original content to be honored. Okay. We don't want political narratives in our storytelling. And if you go to Disney World, let's be honest, you're going there for many different kinds of stories and to be dropped into said stories. That's why you take your family. And you don't want political narratives dropped into your stories that you are right there in to enjoy. Now, James Gunn saying a goddamn thing doesn't make any sense, okay? Let's just be real. And the guy does talk about, there's other parts of the article that I've seen in other places where the guy talks about the fact that, you know, Disney World's original business model was very conservative, very family value oriented, and Disney has floated away from that, okay? And they have. They have. Look, there's rumors out there that Disney has all kinds of quote-unquote diversity monitors set up and actual software that will tell them whether or not a project is diverse enough or woke enough, essentially, that's ridiculous. There's writers out there that have confirmed that Disney has passed on very, very good movie scripts because they weren't deemed diverse enough. So in other words, you are more concerned about checking boxes. Just fucking boxes. Let's put out a shitty movie as long as them boxes get checked, okay? The story doesn't have to be up to par. As long as the amount of wokeness is all the boxes are checked. Oh, we're good. We've got enough wokeness. Let's go ahead and roll this piece of crap movie out. We passed on a great one because, goddamn, there was one too many single Christian white guys in it. I mean, let's be real. That's what's going on here, okay? And this guy expressed his opinion, and we're tired of people like James Gunn, who is a complete lunatic Fruit Loop sicko that had some twisted shit all over his Twitter where he was going to parties, dressed up as a priest, women dressed up as schoolgirls, and all kinds of things, to the point that Disney fired him. They fired him. He was gone. And then, look, a month later or whatever it was, they hired him back. Do you think they're going to do that with Gina Carano? James Gunn is wokety woke. Gina Carano is conservative. Okay, so again, you see the problem? All right, you see the problem? Which one was supposedly most offensive? Gina Carano or James Gunn? I'm sorry, I found James Gunn to be a damn sight more offensive than I found anything Gina Carano had to say. In fact, to me, it wasn't even close. I don't know that Gina said anything that was remotely offensive. If you're living in the real non-Twitter world, in the real world, Gina Carano didn't say anything offensive to anybody. Come on. But that's the problem. They're checking boxes off a minute piece of the population that gets offended by everything. And that's just the people that James Gunn is on his knees to. That's just the people that Disney is on their knees to. And we're sick of that too. You're giving the middle finger to the base, the very base that built Disney. Okay, and that's been the problem. The very base that built Star Wars. The very base that built the MCU. Okay? Look, diversity is not diversity if it's forced diversity. I mean, come on. I don't know what it is about honoring the original storytelling and keeping the core belief set that you have with a company these days. No, you got to drop to your knees and you got to suckle from the teat of leftists, okay? That's all you're doing, Disney. And that's all James Gunn is doing. And I, for one, I've said many times, documented on this channel, I will not watch the Suicide Squad, even though I loved the first one. I did. But I'm not watching that. And I'm not watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Would I like to see it? Probably I would. But I'm not going to watch it because James Gunn directed it. He's a vile, sick bastard, okay? There's something wrong with James Gunn, but yet he's still employed by Disney. And everybody on the left and in the media literally celebrate this man, and he's twisted as hell. Okay? The kind of things he put out on his social media feed, which he, by the way, went back and deleted all of, something's wrong there. Okay, something was wrong there with that guy. And everybody seems to be fine on the left with that twisted, no-value, set-having son of a bitch. I'm not. I'm not fine with James Gunn. Okay, so again, James Gunn, I wouldn't throw stones while you're living in a glass house. All right, you see the problem, James Gunn? Tell me what you think, black and white entertainment fans. Long video, but there were some things to talk about here. This has got to stop. We're not going to quit making these videos and talking about these things until this ceases. Okay? These companies will be forced to recognize that the conservative base in this country whether they like it or not, makes up 50 or 60% of the entire population, or they will see their monetary value plummet. Period. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.